Hi friends, I'm Hije, senior next year, and I'll be running for the position of vice president. I'm just going to ask you to bear with me, yeah? And ask for your participation at the very beginning. FASA is?
Family!
FASA is?
Family!
FASA is?
Family!
Family. And by running for vice president, I not only want to maintain, but to grow this family that has had an impact on each and every one of us. All the highs and lows we've experienced have shaped us into who we are and who we aspire to be. Play along with me just like that, okay? I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for just this brief section. Okay? Close your eyes. I want you to think of a moment surrounding FASA that isn't necessarily bad, but let's say less than ideal. I'm not so ignorant that I believe everything we do is perfect. No. There will be times where people aren't happy, sad, frustrated, but I want us to really embrace those times and take them at face value. Now, I want you all to think of a happy moment you've had with us. Somebody, something, an event, a joke, a card game, anything. Now I want you to open your eyes and look around you. All of that happiness stems from the social interaction, hard work, and passion from all the members around you. And they stem from the lessons learned of those bad times. I'm advocating for all of FASA to be a community that we could be even more proud of. I'm advocating for us to look past the negatives. Acknowledge them, yes, but to really look past them. And to be able to see the goodness in everybody. I'm advocating for a shift in mindset of constantly comparing and trying to one-up another. A shift in mindset of bringing one's best self forward at all times so that we as a community, a Filipino cultural club, can take pride in what we really stand for. Holding a high standard for not only eWard, but for the rest of our members. Because we need to put an emphasis on making sure our general body members keep coming back, not only for events, but as a community as a whole, so it keeps growing bigger and better. Sure. Jumping into VP of FASA without any prior eBoard experience is a check against me, for sure. I do like eBoard experience. And I may not be up to speed with all the finer details or inner workings of what it means to be on a FASA eBoard. But what I lack there, I for sure make up for in my vast leadership experiences. I've been on various athletic and academic teams ever since I was a child, but I was also selected to take up leadership positions in those organizations as well. I was vice president of my high school's National Honor Society, and so with that, I was tasked with planning and running events for our members while also taking care of the logistics so that they could take place as efficiently and seamlessly as possible. I was first chair for 3 years and section leader for 2 at one of the best high school music programs in Maryland. We were judged on a national scale, so I understand the significance of holding a leadership position for something on a grand schema. As an example for my dedication to a program or just the program, I basically lived in the music room. I spent my mornings there. I spent all of my study halls, all of my lunch breaks there. I was there basically until 9 p.m. almost every day of the school week, building relationships, practicing, and pursuing excellence. Some of you may wonder how leadership in music ties into running a club. Well, being in that position made me realize how imperative it is for your entire team, your entire section to be on the same page. I realized how imperative it was to be able to be adaptive and learning how to let the creative ideas flow within a team. I had to really understand my section and really get to know who they were, not just as players, but as high school students, as people. I had to form that bond with them individually, but I was also able to cultivate that bond so they had it with all of each other. And for 4 years running, we earned gold at all the competitions we entered. We were able to come together for a purpose much bigger than us, and something really, really amazing. Music. Telling somebody to just do better, or do X, Y, Z. Practice more, learn ABC, I feel is inefficient. That's the easy way out. Being a leader is much, much more than that. It's being able to make those around you better. Being a leader means to be able to draw out the full potential of those around you, and I'm confident in my abilities to do this for a few reasons. I have training and experience in running leadership and team building workshops for the past 8 years. I was a peer minister for my parish's youth ministry program throughout high school, and for 2 years in college, I was a core team member or a catechist for that same program, which means I was able to work with directly high school students and college students. This gave me a ton of exposure to many different kinds of social groups. It was a challenge, but I embraced it and learned how to really communicate on an intimate level. My mentor during this period gave me invaluable social and life tools that I really want to share with next year's eBoard. After working so close with my parish, I was able to network with other people who have a chance to help support us. They actually have a knack for funding or donating groups like us so that we can learn more about our heritage. It might be a little questionable coming from a parish, but my parish actually consists of mostly Filipinos, and there's a huge audience for me to reach out to. There's also a Filipino-specific ward within the parish called CFC, or Couples for Christ, and CFCY, Couples for Christ Youth, that are a presence in the parish. I have direct connections to those directors, actually, because I ended up mentoring one of their sons. Another example of a tool I plan on working in very close detail with is helping Charlotte restructure e-board retreat. Of course, the exact details can be set since things aren't in motion, but having e-board retreats structured in a way that we can get our agenda planned is key. But I also plan on having workshops, speeches, activities that really hone in on focusing on growing as leaders, bonding as friends, forming that chemistry that I know we can achieve, and learning how to support one another as a team. Having planned retreats for years, I'd like to think I'm very, very good at it. And this e-board as a whole will come out with not just a fire to do things for the club, but a focused fire. A focused passion that should be shared so that general body members can be excited for this awesome cultural club. Everything I'm planning is a vision. That's correct. But my vision shouldn't be mutually exclusive from what I believe the club can achieve. Our club is a social club at the end of the day, but I feel that if we as an e-board can show that fire and passion to the general body, it'll bring us that much closer. I'm passionate about FOSSA. I'm passionate about being able to work with some really incredible people next year. I'm passionate about being a supporting foundation for all of e-board and take away some of the stresses that come with being in those positions. It will be a challenge. There will be times where we might be sad, frustrated, or upset. And I want to let the rest of my peers know that at the end of the day, we can kick back, eat some lumpia, some adobo, drink some mucho mangoes, and have a good laugh. This brings me to my last point and why I want to run as VP. From the first day I met her, I recognized how interesting and genuine Charlotte is. I've learned a lot from her, and I want to do my best in supporting her during her time as president. She is going to be the face of FOSSA. And I want to make sure her vision of FOSSA is brought through. To accomplish this, I want to challenge all of FOSSA. I'm challenging you to be real. I'm challenging you to make a real connection with your e-board, with me, the rest of FOSSA, so that we can all be the happy family FOSSA should be. I'm not calling you out. Just opposite. I'm calling you on. I know FOSSA can be successful next year. And I want all of us to be proud in how successful it is, and I know we can achieve it. But how do we define success? How about I just give you my definition? Success to me means to be able to laugh, to be able to win the respect of the intelligent and the affection of others, to earn the appreciation of honest critics while enduring the harsh realities thrown at us, to find the best in each other, and to leave the world a bit better than how you found it. To know even one person has breathed a little bit easier because of you. To me, that's what it means to succeed.
Q&A for Kyle.
Yes, Ellen?
What are your ideas to get people interested in the Apikuya Adding program and to get them involved in FOSSA Nash?
Okay, so my plan with the Apikuya Adding program, since that's a direct thing I have like my hand in, is making sure like events are spread out more so than like a concentrated week or a day, because I appreciate how Orvin did that speed dating thing, and I thought it was such an awesome idea, but I feel like it could be run a little bit more efficiently or more optimally in the fact that we could have it spread out more and not focusing on it on so much as one day, because forming connecting someone with just like that is super cool to see, but also very rare. So having like more events planned out, like through, of course, like the opinions of like other e-board members on how we can achieve that, but spreading that out through at least like a 2-week period so as to not overload people and really getting to know them like personally. So such as that after the pairs are set, I would want to make it like my goal to actually individually go out to each pair and ask them like how their day is, like how their FOSSA experience is, and like what we could do like as an e-board or just like as like a FOSSA community in general could really do to help them. Yes, Chris.
As the orchestrator for FOSSA, like for the Apikuya Adding program, and I feel like you will also be working with a lot of the new incoming members.
Mhm.
How will you try to get them into the club, and how will you retain their attendance in the club?
Awesome question. So how to do that is to be able to work with historian, be able to work with the external secretary, internal secretary, for as in like PR. So like really getting like the creative ideas flowing to make sure that there's exposure like throughout campus for FASA, because I know personally I didn't actually know about FASA like unless it was like through my sister. Like there was nothing I knew like throughout the org, like throughout campus, other than like that sister connection. So I feel like focusing on that or like delving into that realm is like a good step in that like area. And I'm sorry, what was your other part of it? I was like so focused on that. I'm
How
sorry.
will you retain members?
Oh yeah, awesome. So member retention, of course, is not something that should be forced. It should be something that's formed organically, because people are coming out for that social interaction, for that communication, for that community that we're able to build. Yes, the events should be able to help facilitate that, and that's what I'm planning to work with, like if I was to be elected, of course, is to really focusing on the quality of the event so that that is also brought through. So like trying to form that organic relationship that we've had, like that I've tried to make throughout the beginning of the fall semester. Yeah, I know.
So I know we talked about a lot that this year's weakest pillar was education.
Yeah.
As vice president, one of the goals is to oversee a lot of the cultural aspects. What can you bring in terms of that?
Okay, so so I visited the Philippines this past summer, and it was really like a wake-up call. Like really just like culture shock into something that I knew was a part of my heritage, and like there's a reason why I was proud to be Filipino, and I really want to share that with everybody. It's really bringing people back to the roots, really showing them like what happened when like our parents came over or like our grandparents came over, and like really delving into that. Like there, albeit like I don't have that knowledge now, that isn't to say that I don't have the resources to be able to go into that. Like there's multiple Filipino organizations and multiple people that have been in that position that I can really take from and learn. And that's something I'm willing to do because I realize that as someone who's directly involved in the culture aspect as VP. And so that was my plan. And also being able to share that experience with everybody. Because I know multiple people have different experiences and we're able to all piece that together as a Filipino community.
Thank you, Pablo.
I understand that creating a passionate and meaningful retreat experience is important to your goals for next year's report. What would be different in that experience, and how would it help shape next year's report and therefore policy?
Good question. How it would be different is I bring a completely new perspective. That's why I feel like being new to this organization, for only being 1 year, isn't necessarily a disadvantage. I feel like it helps me be more well-rounded. It helps not make me so stagnant in how things have been or how they could have been. And the fact that so I don't know how e-board retreat has been because I don't necessarily know that. But my first plan was to be able to set an itinerary that not only is like rigid in the fact that we need to get things done, but also flexible and adaptable to be, so that there's a room to breathe, correct? So room to plan, room for activities, room for bonding, room for jokes, and that should be separate from that. And I feel that if I bring in an itinerary, that I'm an actual very detailed one because I've learned how to do that with planning retreats. And that's something I feel should be followed and enforced. And I know that the experiences I've had have mainly been parish retreats, correct? That's not to say that they weren't leadership experiences in the slightest. They were actually more so, and my mentors also told me that we weren't just teaching you how to be like a good Catholic or how to be a good Christian because there's multiple different religions. We were teaching you how to be a good person and how to actually like reach out to people who might necessarily share your faith. But that doesn't mean to say that those leadership experiences negate what I can do. Yeah. Does that answer your question? All right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ellen. Yeah.
Having not been involved in this year's Song Hunt, how do you plan on taking on a leadership role for it in this upcoming year?
So, albeit I wasn't involved acting-wise, albeit I wasn't involved in making props or doing like all this stuff, that wasn't to say that I wasn't there necessarily in the fact that I was there for more moral support. Because you're right, like and as most of you know, I'm on MD, and next year that will take a complete backseat to FASA, a complete backseat, because one of the things that tore me apart when I saw Pistahan this year was I was at a competition called Rip the Floor on April 15th. That's why I wasn't able to attend Pistahan. And after the competition, I rushed straight here. I didn't team bond. I didn't do that because I had you guys on my mind, because I realized how much work everybody put in. And seeing that really tore me apart. And before I wasn't able to make a decision between FASA and MD. But then at that moment on, I knew FASA would be my #1 priority.
And so you're gonna continue to be on major back?
So with that being said, it would be a complete inactive role. Like I would still be on the team, but I would not be competing to train. Like I wouldn't be training to compete. It would just mainly be for the networking experiences that I would have with being in, on the team per se.
Charlotte's on the team.
Like Charlotte's on the team right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like it's like how it's how that. No, it's not like for example, like if a FASA event and an MD event would happen.
I'm just saying that because I know in previous years, Major Def has had an issue with their members being on FASA
Correct.
because it takes away from their time with Major Def, so
Yes.
that's why it's clarified.
Of course, yes.
Pablo?
As VP, culture is one of the responsibilities of this position. What are your plans for next year's FASA? Well, that's that.
No, I
Yeah,
asked
no, us.
that he came from.
Alright,
Where you been?
I'll just say it official. In terms of the 4 pillars of FASA, what do you think is your weakest and how do you expect to overcome it?
So my weakest, of course, would be the education part, that cultural part, because I have had to work, I have had dealings with that family aspect, that integration aspect that I've also said. But that service aspect is something that maybe somebody might have like slept on for me about. But I've worked with my parish to be able to really know how to like reach out to those not like in need, but I like to say less fortunate than us, right? So I feel like that aspect is covered, but my education aspect is something that I realized in myself is lacking, especially for this cultural chair. But that's something that makes me more excited because I know I can grow that much more. It's something that I'm actually excited to learn more about being Filipino, learning about that culture. Do you have a question?
So, as part of being a vice president, right, it's your role to be a leader to the whole organization.
Yes, of course.
We are very strong as a family in the organization, but we also have the reputation of being cliquey.
Of course.
So, how would you change that?
Changing that through being a role model, through how I would act, how I would want my other fellow members to act. That's why I was talking about having FASA e-board like really be clicking together, because if we as an e-board can't click together, we cannot expect our general body members to click together. That's so unfair to ask for. And so that's like me actually challenging, or not calling out, but really challenging people to like be better versions of themselves, to like really like pinpoint, or because I don't know if you have a specific example in mind, but of course like the clickiness, of course, right? It's making sure it's to really go about that organic relationship so that we're all inclusive as a family. And then people who are looking to join in as a family aren't necessarily scared to do that. It's making sure that everybody feels comfortable with one another, and making sure that we as an organization are reciprocative of that. If that answers your question, I'm not sure it does. Good question. Wait, Benmar, real quick, since he hasn't had a question.
I mean, it's not really a question. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like asking for clarification. So, like, for your main idea for like having e-board as that tight knit community, you kind of want that to rub off on like the general body.
Yes,
as, like,
okay.
a way-
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
I just wanted.
For that, it's not to say that I'm ignoring general body members. It's the opposite. It's that e-board as a whole is the common denominator for all of the events happening. And if I want to make sure that we as a unit are able to like understand that idea, and we make sure that we believe in that idea of community and family, so that it can be shared, it can be spread, it can be felt, not just seen or heard and putting on like a face value mask. I really want it to be felt. And that's what I'm advocating.
Any last questions for Kyle? Pablo? Last one.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. You said I'm just gonna bring it back to my first question I asked you about the FASA retreat. I was looking more of a logistics answer instead of an atmospheric
And it'll just like answer in how, like what was, can you
So,
like
I guess
rephrase that then?
The answer that I'm looking for is more of a play-by-play, like, oh, here's a question. I understand that creating passionate, meaningful keyboard retreat experience is important to your goals for next year's keyboard. What would be different in that experience, and how would it help shape next year's keyboard and their response time?
So you want like a play-by-play of what I think would happen in there?
Yeah, like the day of, like.
So day of, I know this would be hard to ask, but everybody's showing up at the place, the designated retreat place at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Well, that's like up to debate and stuff like that. But early in the morning, so that you have a whole day for breathability and flexibility, correct? And then also, for the logistics on that, and I know like money might be an issue. That's why I want to reach out to my parish. That's why I want to reach out to the Filipino organization so that they can help us. And I guess some of the things that might happen in there was I have connections to I know speeches are just speeches, but I have connections to people that have had a leadership role and know how to like, share that. And they said that they will be willing to come speak with my organization. And I feel like if I have that direct connection, I feel like that can really benefit a lot of people. And so I guess like also like maybe activities that could happen. Albeit, I guess one of the different things is, this may be a little weird, but just turning off your phones. Just really being present in that moment, right? Albeit like, I know of course there's gonna be emergencies and like stuff like that, so like there's always needs to be a phone on, but really being present with each other, like that doesn't necessarily just have to be an atmosphere thing, that can add to it. Right? So having an itinerary plan by plan, like at 8:15 this goes down, at 8:30 this goes down, at 8:45 this goes down, but also having breathability in that schedule so that everything can be done. And I guess like if you want more, like can you just ask for specifics on what you want more? I guess. And then I'll be so happy to share. But what exactly, if I'm not like answering, is there anything else I can answer?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Move on. Right. Thank you, Kyle.